this is Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be making this lemonade card. It is so refreshing and cool. I just love this card. I hope you like it too. These are the items that we are using to make the card today. I have thick whisper white cardstock that is cut at 11 by 4 1/4 and scored at 5 1/2 score line. Here is the 2015-2017 In Color Designer Series paper stack, and that piece is cut at 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. Affectionately Yours Designer Series paper. It's cut a little smaller at 4 by 3. We have a piece of vellum and a piece of regular whisper white cardstock that are both cut at 3 by 2 1/2. And this is what we're going to be using to cut out our jar. Fit right on there. And then we have doilies that are cut in half. And moving on, other things we're going to be using are Stampin Dimensionals. Some of these we're going to cut small, some we're not. We have Pool Party, So Saffron, Soft Sky, all Stampin' pads. And then Memento Tuxedo black ink. Also, we are going to use Stampin' Mist with our Stampin Scrub Pad. Can't do any stamping without that. Mini glue dots, a bone folder, 3 acrylic blocks, Wink of Stella clear, the Jar of Love stamp set. We're going to be using the medium jar here, and we'll use the filling. It's the liquid filling that goes inside the jar. That's going to be our lemonade. And the Everyday Jars Framelits. There's 3 different sizes inside this this size pack, and we're going to be using the medium size jar. So when you pick out your framelits, make sure you get the one that matches the stamp. So, oh, I'm sorry, that was my dog. Excuse her. Now let's get started. To start off, we're going to do a little stamping. I've sprayed my Stampin' Mist on the Stampin' Scrub so that everything will come off of my stamp nicely. This is the medium-sized jar. I'll show you that this is the large, this is the small, and the medium is located over here in the corner. You could use the jar that is large if you choose to. It's all a matter of your creativity. So I have mounted the stamp onto the D block. Get a little ink here. It doesn't take much pressure when you're stamping. And there we are. Now I will take this image and I will cut it on the Big Shot with the medium framelit. I'm also at the same time going to cut out a piece of vellum. I didn't stamp on the vellum because it's going to lay over the jar once it's cut, and there's really no need for me to stamp onto the vellum because I want the jar to appear as if it is glass, so to where you're looking through something. So no stamping on the vellum. I'm now going to use my Big Shot die cutting machine to die cut out this framelit. If you have a magnetic platform, then it will help you to keep all of the pieces together. If not, you can use a piece of washi tape and put it over. I just choose to throw caution to the wind. So we are, I apologize for the wobbling. Okay, here is a jar. Now we're going to go for another jar. This one is going to be out of vellum. And there's no specific placement on the vellum because you didn't do any stamping. It's going to be an overlay, so we just need to get our image cut out in the same shape and we'll be good to go. And here's the other piece. Now let's get back to the card. First, we're going to take the card base and fold it on the score line and burnish the score. I like to make sure that it's really burnished well, because otherwise this is going to pop right back up on me. All right. Now we're going to create the background of the card. It's a little bit of sponging or ink blending. You can use a sponge or a sponge dauber. The sponge dauber fits right over your finger. Some people use different fingers. This is soft sky ink. What I like to do is get some ink onto the dauber, kind of take the excess off, and then working from, this part is going to be covered, so working from down here, going up, just kind of move in a circular motion. I'm not pressing at all. I am letting my finger hold the dauber, and the dauber is moving across the paper. If you're experienced with sponging or ink blending your card, then this is a trick that you have become accustomed to. But getting used to it, using such a light pressure is definitely something that, as practice makes perfect, and I would encourage everybody to try. And if you feel like you are not doing well enough on ink blending, please keep trying, because it's really, really, really fun. And it's, to me, it's therapeutic to very slowly see something come up on there, and I waiting until it gets the desired shade. It's just a very, very easy touch. Getting the excess off. I didn't go too high on the initial card because I am going to do some stamping on here. You can cover the whole thing if you like. It's going to kind of be up to you as to what kind of look you want to achieve. But I just wanted to achieve like a late summer evening. We're going to have some fireflies up in the corner of the card over here. So I just wanted to bring your eye past where the jar is. Okay, I feel like that's going to be good enough. You could even add some more colors to it if you want more of a different colored sky. So now that we have the background achieved, we're going to put together the designer series paper. I wanted to tell you guys that whenever I first saw this, and look how beautiful this paper is from Affectionately Yours. I first saw this and I thought, oh wow, it's so beautiful. And I turned it over and I thought, lemons? They put lemons on the back of this paper? But this is so pretty, nobody is going to want to use the lemon side. Well, look who's using the lemon side. When I saw the Jar of Love premiere, I thought, wow, that's going to be a really cool jar of lemonade. Well, here are the lemons. So that's kind of how I got to the connection for making this. Now I'm going to attach the doily now. This is a standard doily that I cut in half on my stamping trimmer. You can make it even smaller if you want it to have it not come down as far on the card. It's entirely your choice. You're the one in charge. So this is the doily and some Stampin' Dots. I'm just going to, or some glue dots. I'm going to get the corners secured and just use a couple more glue dots here. One there and one kind of down here. I don't want the doily to move once I start working with things. Okay. I'm going to bring it to the top, keeping everything relatively straight. Relative is the word. And that's good. There we go. So now that we have this unit assembled, we're going to put it onto the card. I used Dimensionals to adhere it to the card. And anytime I have a rectangle or a square, but particularly a rectangle, I like to use 5 dimensionals. I'll tell you why. Because if I'm going to take the time to make someone a card that I'm going to send in the mail, or if I'm going to even hand it out in person, then I want it to look like what it intentionally looked like, or what it initially looked like is a better word for it. So if I give it some support on the back, then it's just not going to fall flat. Especially the mail can flatten everything out, and I want to take the extra care that I can and let somebody know that I made this card with love. All right. Now we are going to use Saffron. Got one pad. And we're going to put the lemonade in the card. I'll tell you guys a little story while I'm doing this. This is not the first time that I have shot this video, because I have made this card with a video for you guys without the lemonade. Now, I know it's just an empty jar, and it's okay if you have just a jar, but this is a lemonade card, so we're going to take the time to actually put the lemonade in the jar. So, this is the lemonade with Saffron ink, and there's really no wrong place to put this unless you cover the edge of the jar and don't get it inside. Don't push too hard because we're stamping. Okay, now this stamp gave a little bit of a varied color, and sometimes in stamping, especially with photopolymer, we don't want that, but this is a jar of liquid, so I think it's totally okay that we were able to get a color variance. I'm pleased with it. It doesn't bother me in the least bit. So now I'm going to take the sharp end of my scissors, well, the point of my scissors. You can also use an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut right under the rim of this glass in the white part. This is going to probably take me 2 passes, because the first time I've cut, I have found out that it's the top half that gets cut and then the bottom half gets cut. So I'll go from the back and give it just that little bit. There we go. So you can see there is a slit in the jar filled with lemonade. It has lemonade in it this time. Okay, so the piece of vellum comes into play now, and what we're going to do is use a couple of glue dots. Some people have apprehension whenever using glue dots or any kind of adhesive with vellum, because honestly it shows. You can see the vellum, you can see the adhesive on the vellum, whatever kind of adhesive you use. It doesn't really bother me that much that you can see the glue dots, because you'll have to judge for yourself whenever you get to your finished product of the card. Oh, I'm going to slide this. This is the, if you put the straw in now, then it's just a little easier. It's going to go under the lip and then through the slit. You could still get it in afterward, but you may be kind of wrestling with the cardstock a little bit, and why do that if you don't have to? So back to the vellum and the adhesive. I can see these glue dots, but honestly, they are not what catch my eye. It's the straw and the color of the lemonade and the fact that it's a frosty looking jar. So I'm fine. And if you choose, you can use a different kind of adhesive and make the jar have a little bit of a different look. So the straw can come in and out. Be sure to kind of make sure that it doesn't stick onto the glue dot if you want it to be able to be moving in the actual, when the card is finished. So I will use a couple of dimensionals. I am being careful not to secure the straw in place, because I want that straw to kind of be a fun feature of the card. And now I'm going back for more dimensionals, and I'll tell you why. because whenever I applied this, or when I attached this unit here to the card, then we are already raised up by one dimensional. And I want the jar to feel, or to look to the eye as if it is away from the background. I want more depth to be given to the eye, to the person who's looking at it. So we've got a couple of stacked dimensionals, and I'll use just a tiny bit of glue here. All it takes is a little, and attach it to the card. Now, because we made this higher off, then I hope you can see it on camera, that it does give depth to the card, that you can actually see the images away, and the straw is not laying flat against it either, which is another good thing. And the paper is so thin that you can bend the straw a little bit if you like. So those are the components that we are putting onto the card, and now we're going to be getting back to some stamping, and we're going to put the sentiment here, and then we're going to put these cutest little fireflies over here. Now I've got everything set up for doing the fireflies. So let's do the fireflies first. Hope you can see the firefly there. So choosing the position of the fireflies is entirely up to you. I chose to have one kind of going off on the side in the distance, and I chose to have another one kind of coming up, like from behind the table. I imagine that this is a table, or some kind of a small table on a porch. And then I wanted to have another one kind of in the background, appearing like he's further away. So what I'm going to do is get some ink on here and stamp it off, and then I'm going to kind of use a second generation and put him as close back here as I can to where he looks like he's further away, like he's not hanging out with these guys. Maybe he's after some fun little picnic food. And then we're going to give the lightning bugs their little bit of shine. There's a stamp in the stamp set that is a circle, and many people were not sure. It was a topic of conversation. What is a circle for? And it's the firefly's light. So we are going to put in, I like to make the color start down where the actual firefly, where his bottom half is, and then have the color go out, like it's out into the evening. So on this guy here, it might not be as easy because I got him down a little too far, but that's good enough for me. Now on the third guy, I'm going to give it a second generation because he is supposed to be somewhere else, far, far away. There he goes. Put the straw this direction. And here is the clear Wink of Stella. A little shake. And I put this on his wings for each one of these little firefly guys. Just a little something extra to, if the light shines the right way, it catches the eye. Now all that's left is the sentiment. I pre-mounted this from the stamp set. There's many sentiments. There's loving stamp set, loving sentiments. There's throw kindness around like confetti. There's many different things. I wanted to keep it simple because I want people to catch what's happening on the card. And so what we'll do is use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Make sure that all of that photopolymer is covered up, and just, oops, I can't See a little bit of spot I didn't catch. And with light pressure, it says, "Hey friend." And that's it. We're done. There could be a number of sentiments that you would choose to put inside the one that says, "Throw kindness around like confetti" is really cute. I like "You fill me with happiness." "Life feels empty without you." There's so many things to choose from on this stamp set. It is a large stamp set and has many components to it. There are 37 pieces inside the stamp set. We have 2 sheets. Where's my other? Here we go. 2 sheets of images that are ready for you to stamp. There's so much possibilities that you can do with this stamp set. And the framelits that go with it, it makes it so convenient to be able to make your stamps, stamp out onto paper, and then use your framelits to cut them out. Or you could fussy cut and choose to just get the stamp set. I love it. It's a wonderful stamp set. As you can tell, I've made several different cards already making this Jar of Love stamp set. So this is it for today. If you have any questions about this card, please feel free to comment in the video or to send me an email or visit my website, which is www.jennystampsup.com. And please, I would appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up, because every thumbs up that we get on YouTube helps us to achieve to another level, and we can bring you different features in our videos if we have more thumbs ups, more likes on a video. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me for Lemonade card made with Jar of Love, and I appreciate you taking the time for us to make it together. Thanks.